The Grand Assembly Hall of Zerion Prime had witnessed many historic moments, but none quite like this. Representatives from across the galaxy sat in their designated sections, their various forms creating a tapestry of evolution shaped by countless worlds. The air hummed with tension as thick as the artificial atmosphere that kept them all breathing. At the center of the vast chamber stood Apex Warlord Thane Korvax, his 7-foot frame encased in ceremonial battle armor that had seen 1,000 conquests. The weapon in his hands, the legendary Voidrender, had cleaved through starship hulls and reduced entire armies to plasma. Its dark metal gleamed with an inner light that spoke of technologies beyond most civilizations' comprehension. And this, Korvax's voice boomed through the hall's acoustic enhancers, is what your precious Earth contributes to our alliance. His laugh was like grinding metal. A child? Standing barely 5.5 feet tall in the defendant's circle was Terra Blackwood, age 17 standard years, representative of humanity's most infamous colony world. Her plain gray jumpsuit marked her as coming from Kepler 442b, a world the galaxy knew by a different name. Deathworld, the planet where humanity had somehow not just survived, but thrived, despite gravity 3 times galactic standard, atmospheric pressure that would crush most beings, and predators that made nightmares seem pleasant. The assembly murmured. Some delegates leaned forward in their hover seats, curious. Others shifted nervously, having heard stories. Terra's hands hung loose at her sides. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and her brown eyes remained fixed on the Warlord. She had been silent since entering the chamber 20 minutes ago, despite Korvax's increasingly creative insults about her world, her species, and her right to speak in the assembly. "Cat got your tongue, little Deathworlder." Korvax took a step closer, the Voidrender's energy field crackling. "Or are you finally understanding that your pathetic world has no place in civilized space?" The Vrentark delegation, ancient reptilian beings, known for their wisdom, watched with narrowed eyes. Ambassador Veltar had seen many confrontations in his 4 centuries, but something about the girl's stillness reminded him of the moment before a plasma storm broke over his homeworld's crystal cities. Terra's breathing remained steady. Her heart rate, monitored by the assembly security systems, showed only a slight elevation, remarkable for someone facing down the most feared warrior in 3-star systems. 8 seconds. 9. 10. The Aquarian ambassador's gills fluttered nervously. Even through the translation matrix, she could sense the shift in the room's emotional resonance. Whatever was building here felt like standing in the path of a tidal surge. 11 seconds. 12. Korvax raised the Voidrender, its blade extending to full-length 6 feet of matter, disrupting energy that could carve through virtually any known substance. "Perhaps I should demonstrate why weaklings like you." 13 seconds. Terra moved. To most beings in the assembly, it looked like she simply teleported from where she stood to where Korvax held his weapon. But the high-speed cameras caught it all, how she crossed the 15-foot gap in 3 strides that should have been impossible for legs that length, how she reached up with movements so fluid they seemed choreographed, how her hands closed around the Voidrender's blade. The energy field that should have disintegrated flesh on contact simply stopped, as if it had encountered something it couldn't process. Korvax's eyes widened behind his helmet's visor. He triggered the weapon's full-power discharge, enough energy to level a city block. The blade flared brilliant white. Terra's grip didn't loosen. "Impossible," someone whispered from the Centauri delegation. Then, with a sound like breaking crystal, the Voidrender snapped in half. The energy feedback sent Korvax stumbling backward, his armor systems sparking and failing. The upper half of his legendary weapon clattered to the floor, its light dying like a spent star. Terra held the lower half for a moment, examining it with the same casual interest someone might show a broken tool. Then she set it down gently, on the chamber floor, and looked up at the Warlord. When she spoke, her voice was quiet, but the assembly's acoustics carried every word to the furthest seat. My world has gravity that would crush your bones, Warlord. Our children swim in oceans that would boil your blood. We run from predators that would eat your armies for breakfast and still be hungry. She took a step forward, and despite being nearly 2 feet shorter than Korvax, somehow seemed to tower over him. We don't survive on Kepler 442b because we're weak. We survive because weakness dies in the first year. The massive warrior conqueror of star systems, the being whose very name made civilizations surrender, took an involuntary step backward. You wanted to know what Earth contributes to this alliance? Terra's smile held no warmth. We contribute the children of a world that makes gods into survivors and survivors into something beyond your comprehension. She turned to address the assembly, her voice carrying the quiet confidence of someone who had never doubted they belonged exactly where they stood. Humanity accepts the alliance treaty as written. But let me be clear, we're not asking for protection. We're offering it. The Grand Assembly of Exirion Prime had witnessed many historic moments, but as Terra Blackwood walked calmly from the chamber, leaving behind a broken weapon and a humbled warlord, they all understood they had just seen something unprecedented. For the first time in galactic history, the Predators were applying for membership, and their application had just been approved through a demonstration none of them would ever forget.